All right. Just want to record a quick video for matches 16 through 20. Also do a little 20 match recap here to talk about kind of how the first 20 matches have gone. But here's the deck list again, just so everyone can take a quick look at it. But it's on Dreamborn for everyone to take a look at as well. I'll start linking that in the description also. But yeah, so matches 16 through 20. First match was against Steel Song. It was the Simba version, or kind of like the Frank Karsten version. Game one, I had a good kind of Twin Fire and Zeus turn, which kind of cleared their board of all the shift targets they had. They ended up kind of wheeling kind of prematurely in that game, and they didn't really have a good advantage or a good wheel window, and it kind of gave me a bunch of gas. Crab bounce was really helpful in that match, and to help clear the board, I had a crab on board and was able to snake it back and then play it again, and then just really kind of helped kind of maintain their board level so they weren't able to go too wide. And then I was able to empty my hand pretty well to make a whole new world a lot worse. But that was a 2-0 somehow, which I wasn't expecting. That's been a difficult match so far. Match 17 against Blurple. This was a 2-1 win. I tried a tactic of playing a little less early game because with all their one drops and crabs and foxes, that doesn't they combat that pretty easily. Instead, I tried to save like I tried to never Inca Elsa, never Inca Goat. Obviously, leaned into Genie and such, but yeah, I tried that and that worked okay. Tink and Genie together just rolled in those games for me. Having that much evasive questing power, Blurple doesn't have a lot of removal, and even with their Genies and Elsas and big Elsas, I was kind of able to just kind of overwhelm them at that point. I was confused by a little bit of their play when they had a time where they shifted Big Elsa, and I was kind of able to deal with it pretty easily, and it was just it wasn't that bad of a match. But I also think I just things went right. Match 18 against Steel Song. This was a 1-0 loss. We actually had a glitch in game two, and then it froze the whole match. And then they got awarded the win when I went back and checked my stats. So be it. The game one, they absolutely rolled. It was, quick whole new world into double strength. My board was gone. In game two, I was very much ahead. They only had a Lilo on board, and I think they were going into their fourth turn, and I had multiple characters, and it was I was winning game two. Who knows what would have happened, and who certainly knows what would happen in game three, but that's kind of what that match was, unfortunately. Not a lot to learn there, sadly. Match 19 was against Ruby Sapphire. That was a 2-0 win for me, which was crazy because I didn't feel good in that match at all. I felt like I had a lot of cards that are just bad into Ruby Sapphire. Like Twin Fire felt horrible. And even cards like Elsa, sure, you can kind of, maybe Elsa Hiram and take it out. But at that point, they've already played the Hiram and drawn two, and that's not really gaining me a lot of lore. That was a tough one. So, but yeah, I didn't feel like I had a lot of good cards into that match. My big takeaway though is I need to learn how to read that match better. I feel like a lot can be telegraphed. When they have a little Sisu, but there's not a shift on turn 6. When I have two characters that would be banished by it, okay, they probably don't have Sisu. Or anytime they don't ink for a turn, you can pretty much determine what's in their hand based on what's uninkable in their deck. At least B preps, Medusas, big Sisus. You can see a lot there. So I feel like even though there's a lot of play to that deck, a lot of play in that match, I feel like there's certain things that if they had it, they would play it because it would be really good. So if I can kind of read this match a little bit better, I think I can learn a lot about how to play around things better. Match 20 was against Purple Steel. This was a loss. This was I did not play well. I made mistakes. I made a mistake that was bad where I took the bait on a Calhoun challenge to banish something for free and get a couple lore, and they were able to Lawrence challenge it back, and then Bell to remove the damage and blow me out on a character. It was tough. I think there was a time too where during that match where I was trying to bait them into a challenge with a non-evasive character so that I could shift to Tink, but that just didn't work out, and I lost that game for sure. Game 2, I had a really good Tink shift that wasn't on turn 4 exactly. I timed it a little later, and then that was a blowout and got the win. Game 3 was tight, but Library was huge in that game for them. After the whole Genie Elsa War thing, they were able to drop a Library, and with some some one drops, Chernobog and Broom, and drew extra cards, and just blew me out from there. I didn't have any extra card draw to get me out of that, so that was just kind of rough. This is kind of what my first 20 games looks like. 12 and 8, not amazing, of course. It was 4, 3, and 2 sessions. for me, the thing I noticed was so 11 of these games were against purple decks. And I know these decks are different and all, but like 11 matches where it was all about Genie Elsa Wars a lot. It was that way for Ruby Amethyst. Not as much in the burn matchup. That was a little bit different, but they still had genies. I don't think they had Elsas though, technically. Only one Emerald Amethyst match, a couple against purple, but yeah, over half the matches were against purple, against Genie Elsa for the most part. I had 5 matches into Amber. And again, this is Steel Song. This is the Amber aggro. That was tough. This was a color combination where I was 2 and 3 in the 5 matches I played against them. So that's a sticking point for me. And then just a little bit of a few other. I played one green steel, that damage deck that was kind of weird with 6-drop Beast and Robin Hoods and a bunch of crazy stuff. No traditional green steel. I didn't play any traditional green steel. Only one of the Emerald Amethyst. That was kind of strange. But pretty wide matchup pool. I should say I list 5 Amber decks here. I also played 5 Ruby decks. Like there's 2 matches against Ruby Sapphire, 2 against Ruby Amethyst, 1 against Ruby Amethyst Burn. So there's also a good representation of Ruby, some steel decks, but again, 11 purple decks is kind of a big takeaway for me. So after the first 20 matches, just some takeaways I've had. Races and resources, role awareness. So this is just the whole am I the beatdown? Am I the control? And then sometimes it's like, when does that reverse? At what point have I slowed them down enough to where now I need to turn a corner and start being the aggressor and win the game? And then also when, do I need to stop being the aggressor and focus on, okay, I need to sing friends, I need to draw cards, I need to bounce a rabbit if I have it, or bounce a genie even. So that's just an interesting thing to continue to be aware of. Little Tink was really impressive. It eats brawls sometimes, and then your genie, it doesn't get brawled. When it's on the board, it makes the opponent think about like, okay, I can crab it to take out a genie. I can shift Tink. So it's just like, it adds some parity on top of being like a 2 lore evasive quester. So that's just kind of an interesting card. It was impressive. I liked it. The shift Tink, however, like almost never felt good. Like either I didn't want to take away an evasive 2 lore quester, or I didn't want to play it, get moderate value, and then just lose my Little Tink and Big Tink off the shift. Little Tink being paired with Genie was amazing. I won a lot of games on the back of Little Tink and Genie questing for 4 evasive, and adding another Genie, adding another Little Tink, like the going to the skies and just evasive questing for won a lot of games. So like I do like that pairing. I really need to learn how to play with Bell and against Bell. I think part of it is I don't have a lot of great Bell damage movement in this deck. It's like Genie has 4 willpower, Elsa has 5, but I never got off with Bell very well at all. So I think I need to learn how to set it up better. And then I also got blown out by Bell a lot with a lot of against the purple steel decks who are playing Lawrence and Plutos. So like I just got to be better at learning how to play with this card and play against it. Very much like the Rapunzel situation of not challenging into things and getting blown out by Rapunzel. Pluto was an interesting card to play against. Twin Fire helped a lot against it, but that's just kind of a weird card. I have to be careful with that. Haven't decided if 2 is right on the Twin Fire. Little Tink combo that I illustrated in a couple of videos back in the Genie War was really good. I need to figure out what my post Genie Elsa plan should be. That again, like that always shakes down, the dust settles, but like I need to have something to play after that. I don't feel fast enough with this deck at all right now. I kind of want to go wider. I'm the aggressor in a lot of these matchups that we looked at, but I just don't really go wide or fast enough. I don't think anything can be done about the Amber Steel high roll, so I can't focus on that too much. Pete was really underwhelming at times. It sort of buys a turn sometimes, but even against Steel Song, it wasn't amazing. Wasn't great against Ruby Sapphire, Ruby Amethyst, because again, I'm not going wide or fast enough to like having the ability to stop a B prep wins me a game or anything. But I don't think I want to axe it anytime soon though, because it's still very good. Whoever has more Genie, more Elsa, more Zeus, that's getting more wins from what I'm seeing. Library, every time I played against that card, I was getting crushed by it. It was drawing my extra cards. The lore was somewhat incidental, but just being able to get extra cards in these matches is huge. One thing I want to think about too is the meta for these matchups I'm playing could change as my rank increases here and there. This used to happen on Magic Arena all the time, where it's like, at platinum level or whatever, like you were playing a lot of a certain deck, a lot of times, but then as soon as you got up to mythic level, all of a sudden the meta changes. So it's like I want to be aware that like as I tick up here and there, these matchups could change quite a bit. So we'll just have to see. The first changes I might make is, Little Tink felt great, but the shift wasn't super relevant, so I might keep Little Tink for a little while and see how that goes. I want to add Library. If I add Library, I want to go a little wider, maybe do another one drop, another Crab. I wasn't super happy with Pete. Wasn't that great a lot of times, but I think it'd be silly or foolish to cut it right away. So I don't want to like cut Pete. It's like one of the stronger cards. It should be one of the stronger cards in a lot of matches, but I was underwhelmed with it in these first 20 matches. But just gonna give it more time. I think Bell would probably be at its best with Lawrence. So I might try a version with Lawrence instead of the Little Tinks and try to rock more Bells. And just if I need to learn to be better with that card, then I need to try to play that a little bit more. And then I might do a slight adjustment to the removal. Again, like the deck that I'm starting out with, I'm doing like a 1 of Strength, 1 of Smash, just because I wanted to test those out, neither of which were amazing for me. Wasn't wide enough for make Strength good, but singing it at times felt great. Smash was just like very blah. I didn't like throwing away 3 ink on it and losing tempo. So I might make some adjustments here. Twin Fire, again, not sure on the number of that. Should it just be a 1 of, or should I keep 2? Zeus, that could go up to 4 maybe if I'm so concerned about these Elsa and Genie Wars, so we'll just have to see. And then, yeah, if I want to go wider, maybe a Broom goes up, maybe a Crab goes up, maybe I shave a Tink, since it wasn't amazing. So a lot of things to think about. So I'll do another video on kind of building draft 2 with some small changes, but this is kind of how my first 20 matches have gone. Again, as I look at it, not terrible. It's like looking at 12 and 8. It's like okay. It's like I had some 2-0s, definitely got 2-0'd, but I think I can see pretty clearly. It's like okay, played against 11 purples. I need to like really think about the whole Genie Elsa war, obviously, and then weak into Amber. That's what I'm seeing so far. So, but fun first few games and looking forward to doing more of this. So, hope you guys are enjoying. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the views. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for everything. So, looking forward to playing more. Thanks. Bye.